If you want to make more money in your life, you have to understand there are certain universal laws and principles that will allow that to happen. One is the law of leverage, meaning you have to find ways to create leverage and serve on a one-to-many level instead of a one-to-one level. So money flows to those who can detach money from personal time and energy expenditure. You can't get rich trading your time for money. It just doesn't work. So you have to utilize leverage. Examples of leverage would be like, one, building automated systems that can work for you 24/7. It can also be the audience you build, a social media audience or an email list. By building that audience, you have more and more leverage over time. For example, if you have an email list of 10,000 people, you can send out one email, and instead of that email just reaching one person, it's reaching 10,000 people. That's leverage. Another important thing is communication. Money flows where there is perceived value, and to create perceived value, you have to learn the art and skill of persuasive communication. Persuasion isn't like some sleazy tactic. I like to call it effective communication. Persuasion is just being able to communicate value in a way where other people perceive that value and can act on that value, or in a way where it actually changes someone for the better. So effective communication allows you to serve other people and makes it so people want to learn from you and want to buy your products and services. Then there's the law of magnetism. Money flows to those who need it the least. Neediness is a turnoff to money. The more you want the client, the less they want you. The more you don't need the client, the more they want to work with you. It's just sort of how it works. So you have to be the prize. You have to know that people need you more than you need them. And that's not saying it in like an arrogant or condescending sort of way, like you're better than anyone else, but you just have to know your value. You have to know that you have a lot to offer and that others would benefit greatly from working with you. Money flows where there is higher demand than supply. When the demand for what you do is higher than the supply of it, that is when you can raise your prices. That's when you can charge $1,000 for an hour of your time. Then there's the law of overflow. Money flows to those who are open and willing to show up and serve others. Willingness is something you need to cultivate within yourself. That's part of generosity. Money flows to those who are truly generous with their knowledge and wisdom and don't hold back. So you can't have a scarcity consciousness. You have to show up with the attitude of service, just be willing to help others solve their problems with no strings attached. Then there's the law of assumption. Money flows to those who know they will receive plenty of it. To those who don't have doubt. Money flows to those who have a crystal clear vision of what they want to create. You have to know what you're aiming for and what you're actually doing this for. What is the goal? And then money flows to those who are, not those who want to be. When you want something, you're implying that you don't have it. So you have to be the type of person you want to be. Instead of striving to become a certain type of person or striving for a certain amount of money, just be the type of person who can receive that money. You have to embody it in the present. It's sort of like faking it until you make it, but I don't even like to say it that way. It's not really faking it. It's just being who you already are underneath all of the fear and self-doubt and hesitation and anxiety. You know, we all have that. But underneath all of that crap is the authentic version of ourselves. And the authentic version of ourselves is very powerful, is very magnetic, is very confident, is naturally confident, naturally persuasive, is a natural leader. So you have to let go of everything you aren't to become who you really are. And that's when things will just start flowing to you. Then there's the law of relativity. Money flows to those who understand that money is relative and there's no such thing as a small or big amount of it. To one person, $1 million is a ton of money and it seems unachievable. But to someone else, $1 million is a small amount of money. Maybe someone who already has $100 million, like what's $1 million? It's just like 1% of their net worth, you know? So money is totally relative. And so you have to be able to perceive the amount of money you want to make and normalize that. Make it normal. If making $10,000 a month in passive income in your business seems like so far away, it seems like such a huge goal, you have to normalize that in your mind before you'll be able to achieve it. You have to see that, oh yeah, $10,000 a month. I mean, it's not that much. It's only one sale a day of a $300 some product, and then I can have $10,000 a month. You know, like it's not that hard to make one sale a day with the internet where I can reach millions of people. What is one sale a day? That's nothing. So you have to kind of train your mind to normalize the things that you want, because if you put it on a pedestal, if you see it as so far away from you, then it's always going to be out of reach. It's this understanding that there's no limit to the amount of money you can earn. Money is constantly flowing through this world from person to person, and so you can't see it as a finite resource. You have to see it as something that's unlimited and that just comes to you as a result of the service that you offer to others and your ability to use leverage to serve more people, to serve at scale. And then finally, we we have the law of alignment, which basically says that money flows to those who know themselves and align their business and their pursuits in life with their personality. So it's about being true to yourself, not doing things that you find unethical, not doing things that don't really feel right. Now, granted, sometimes there's things we have to do that are uncomfortable, that might not feel natural. Sometimes we just have to push through that fear and that doubt. But then there's other times where we are really just sacrificing ourselves. We're doing things that we hate. We're doing things that we never really wanted to do to begin with, but we're just doing them because they make us money. Maybe we start a coaching business and we're making money, but we never really wanted to do one-on-one coaching. We never wanted to run an agency or a service business, if that's what you're doing. And you're just doing it because you're making money from it and it works. But that's not really true to you. That's not really what you want to do. You're only doing it because of the money. And so that's an example of how you might be out of alignment with yourself, and you're preventing more abundance from flowing to you because you're not being true to yourself. So you have to have clear standards for what you want. You have to know what you want, and you have to go after what you want without apology. Maybe it takes you a bit longer. Maybe it's a bit harder in the beginning, but at the end of the day, you're going to get the life you want. If you just keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and you're doing these other things that aren't really in alignment with you, then you're never going to get the chance to get to the thing you really want to do. So you have to be true to yourself, and you have to follow your God-given strengths and abilities. Don't try to improve your weaknesses so much. Do the things you're already good at. Follow the path that feels the most natural to you, the path of least resistance. That doesn't mean don't do things that are difficult. It just means do the things you're naturally inclined to do. You already have certain skills and abilities, and maybe you're weak in other areas, but don't focus on the weaknesses, because you weren't put here to do those things. Obviously, if you're really not good at certain things, then you weren't put on this earth to do that thing. You were put here to do something else that you are good at. And you can have a truly amazing, peaceful, and prosperous life if you align your life with these universal laws.